Thanks for staying with us. This is a conversation going on here in Washington, up in New York on Wall Street, and really nationwide. How prepared is this nation, the United States, to deal with the consequences, economic and otherwise, of President Trump's global tariffs? And this conversation has a kind of specificity to it. What about China? Well, Scott Kennedy may have some answers for us. I'm very glad he's here. He's Senior Advisor and Trustee Chair in Chinese Business and Economics at the Center for Strategic International Studies. Great to have you here. Thanks so much for coming in on a Friday. I want to play for you what President Trump said yesterday, and then something that we've received subsequently from the Chinese embassy. Let's listen.
I think that we will make a deal with China. I think we've had some very good talks, but we will have some very good talks remaining. We're going to make a deal with everybody. And if we don't make a deal, we'll just set a target, and we'll live with that, and that'll be fine.
How much time do you think you have?
I would think over the next 3 or 4 weeks. I think maybe the whole thing could be concluded.
Scott, part of that interaction with reporters, the president implied he maybe had talked to President Xi, or that there had been high-level communications from the Chinese government to the Trump administration. My brilliant colleague, Margaret Brennan, who does this work all the time, reached out to the Chinese embassy to get some sort of response. It reads as follows. From a spokesperson, quote, "I have nothing to offer on this matter. Our principled position is the same. The tariff hikes were initiated by the U.S. side. It is up to the one who caused the knot to untie it. If the United States genuinely seeks to resolve the issue through dialogue, it should abandon its approach of maximum pressure, refrain from threats and coercion, and return to talks based on mutual respect, equality, and mutual benefit." How do you parse that?
Sure. Well, it does seem like both sides are staking out positions that favor them. Obviously, the U.S. economy and the stock market, bond market took a big hit, and the president is trying to provide reassurance. And the Chinese think that they look like the victim and that it's up to the U.S. to make the first move. So there probably have been communications. I don't know if it's between the White House and the Chinese leadership, but what they're doing behind the scenes, if they're getting ready to talk, isn't going to be something that they're going to be sharing directly with you and me.
And it's been my experience, you are much more traveled in China than I am, but I've traveled with presidents there. Tremendous amount of preparation has to go in
Sure.
dialogues that reach decisions with the Chinese.
Sure. So if you're going to sit down and get an outcome on this, it's not going to be just through a couple phone calls between President Trump and President Xi. This is going to take months, not a few weeks. They're going to have to decide what the agenda is. Is it going to be just on the econ issues that generated the war? Is it going to be on fentanyl? Is it going to be on Taiwan? What's the process? Who's going to represent the president in the negotiations? That will take a long time.
And Scott, I've read several articles suggesting that China has been preparing for this moment after Trump 1.0, getting its economy and its communications about its economy externally and in the region more aligned with riding something like this out, if possible. Is that true, and can they?
Sure. I mean, I think the Chinese were ready to negotiate from day one, but prepared if this escalated as well. And so they have begun to launch a stimulus. They've got a lot more bullets in their stimulus gun if they need to stoke the economy, just as President Trump and his colleagues are negotiating with the Japanese and the Europeans. President Xi was in Southeast Asia this week. He's going to be negotiating with the Europeans and the Japanese. And they just think that they're way more united than us, and they point to the fractured American society and politics in Washington and around the country to make it look like they have a lot more staying power.
And is there a part of that calculus that American politics being as short-tempered as it sometimes can be, high prices from these tariffs maybe in the spring and summer might create political problems here that they can ride out and pay attention to and let them play out before having to make any moves at all?
Sure. I think, Liberation Day wasn't expected by them or by the markets, and they saw what happened on April 8th and 9th. And when the president walked back and focused on them as Plan B, for them, that's a win. His adjustments on the tariffs on semiconductors and IT products, also a walk back. So they think eventually there will be another economic moment that pushes the president to make more concessions, and they will end up walking away without having to give away a heck of a lot.
And there might have been an example of that just today. There was an announcement from the administration about fees to be assessed to Chinese vessels. Not as comprehensive and as hard as it could have been. How do you evaluate that in this conversation?
I think both sides still have some things they could do to punch the other. These fees on vessels, there's the TikTok deal,
Right.
there's the Boeing aircraft issue. There's questions whether this goes financial, and does the U.S. pull licenses of Chinese banks or kick Chinese companies off the American securities markets? Does the Chinese pull the licenses of J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs in China? Those things would escalate things quite a bit. I think the Chinese believe that they have significant staying power. Their economy is not super strong, but they have a closed capital account. That means money can't flow in and out of the country. And they think that President Trump, in their traditional Chinese words, is a paper tiger, and they're going to find out if they can prove that.
I appreciate the expertise and perspective. Scott Kennedy, thank you so much.